When you're as good as Lamar Jackson, it's not that difficult to bet on yourself. The star quarterback was offered an extension that would have increased the total value of his deal to just under $274 million over 6 years. But guess what? He turned it down. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the 25-year-old saying no to this astronomical contract offer from the Baltimore Ravens. Let's dive in. First off, Jackson is shooting for the stars. At just 25 years old, he's already one of the best and most popular players in the NFL. He knows that teams need him more than he needs them. The 2019 NFL MVP is slated to earn around $33 million from the fifth-year option of his rookie contract. This extension would have kicked in next season and he would have made outrageous amounts of money. To put it into context, the average annual salary and guaranteed money at signing would have actually exceeded the deals landed by other star quarterbacks such as Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson. But Jackson didn't really want that. He represented himself in negotiations and made it clear he wanted a fully guaranteed deal like the one Deshaun Watson signed with Cleveland in June. Now, the Ravens can still retain his rights for 2023 by applying their franchise tag on him, which will prevent him from hitting free agency. Next up, both sides tried to reach an agreement. After the negotiations were tabled until the end of the season, Ravens general manager Eric DeCosta stated that despite best efforts on both sides, they were unable to reach a contract extension with Jackson. He expressed that he greatly appreciates how the quarterback has handled this process and is excited about his team with Lamar leading the way. And Ravens fans, you don't have anything to worry about just yet. For the foreseeable future, he's going to stay with the team. DeCosta assured everyone they'll continue to work towards a long-term contract after the season. But for now, they're focusing on a successful 2022 campaign. Coming up, fully guaranteed. Since the middle of the 2018 season, Lamar has posted an incredible 37-2 record as the Ravens starting quarterback. But despite this, they've dropped 3 of 4 postseason games in that span. This time around, they'll have to do better. Now, on Sunday, Jackson was a man of a few words as always, but he only needed 2 to tell the world why the contract negotiation was stopped in its tracks. He threw 3 touchdowns to lead the Ravens to a fantastic 24-9 season-opening victory against the Jets. After the game, he was asked if it was true he turned down a $250 million extension from the Ravens, and Jackson simply replied, "Fully guaranteed." So that pretty much confirms the superstar wants a contract that tops the outlier given by the Browns to Watson to entice him to waive a no-trade clause. He knows what he's worth and he wants all of it. And if you ask us, this is a pretty smart move by the quarterback. He knows how valuable he is to the team, and by refusing to settle for less, he's making the most out of his current position. They can't afford to lose him, and we're sure they'll be giving him a better offer by the end of this season, if he stays fit, of course. Moving on, who helped him during these negotiations? Now, we've previously mentioned Jackson was acting as his own agent during all these meetings, but he wasn't exactly by himself. His mother and the NFL Players Association were helping him throughout the process. They offered stats, information, and guidance and acted as a sounding board. According to multiple sources, it was the union who advised the star that based on his performances and age, he was completely justified to demand a fully guaranteed contract. While they said the Ravens' talks with the player were in good faith, they included $2.5 million in annual de-escalator clauses if the player doesn't attend a high percentage of off-season workouts. He'll make a lot of money from his fifth-year option, but so far he doesn't have anything concrete for next year. Hopefully, the two parties will be able to strike a deal soon, something that helps both of them. Up next, Jackson is making a huge bet on himself. Clearly, the quarterback believes in himself. He's making the biggest bet in football on himself since Ravens quarterback Joe Flacco did in the 2012 season. Flacco's deal was going to expire, and he then led Baltimore to the prestigious Super Bowl title and soon became one of the highest-paid players in the league. Jackson has taken more hits, 737, than any other quarterback since 2018. Last week, he was asked if he believes whether it's a risk to play this season with no guaranteed money moving forward. He replied by saying it was a pretty big risk last season and the year before as well. He expressed he's just playing football and anything can happen. So clearly, he knows the risks involved. Over the past 4 seasons, he's proven to be one of the NFL's top playmakers and winners, but he hasn't been at his best recently. He's coming off his most challenging season in 2021 when he looked very shaky. He threw a career-worst 13 interceptions and missed 5 games, including 4 because of a devastating ankle injury. This time around, the stakes are higher than ever. He'll have to prove he's worth all the money he's asking for, and that's not an easy task. The pressure can get to pretty much anyone, and he'll have to work extra hard on his fitness and skills. Let's see if he wins this huge bet. Now, Now, let's move on to some related news. First up, Russell Wilson booed on his return to the Seattle Seahawks. In March, the 33-year-old quarterback left the Seattle Seahawks to join the Denver Broncos in one of the biggest trades in NFL history. In 2014 and 2015, he led the Seahawks to back-to-back Super Bowls and was adored by fans of the team. So obviously, him leaving was a huge blow to Seattle. Poetically, Wilson made his Broncos debut against his former team, but Lumen Field wasn't about to give him a warm welcome. In a 17-16 defeat, he was constantly booed the entire game by Seattle's 12th man. With 15 seconds to go, Brandon McManus watched his 64-yard field goal attempt sail wide. Seattle's new quarterback Geno Smith had a pretty decent season starter. He made 23 of 28 passes for 195 yards and completed 2 touchdowns, this being his first outing as a starting quarterback since 2014 with the New York Jets. As for Wilson, he finished 29 of 42 passes for 340 yards and even found Jerry Jeudy with a 67-yard touchdown pass, but it didn't count for much because his team committed 12 penalties and fumbled twice on the goal line. After the game, Russell claimed despite his hostile welcome, he couldn't have been more locked in. He also said that while it just didn't go our way, there are 16 more games to go. Up next, Dak Prescott undergoes surgery. The Cowboys quarterback underwent successful surgery on his fractured thumb. He picked up the injury in Sunday night's defeat to the Bucs and is now looking forward to a full recovery. According to NFL Network's Ian Rappaport, Prescott could be returning in Week 8 or 10, the latter of which would be against the Green Bay Packers. After the game, Prescott expressed, "While it was very disappointing, you can't really control injuries." He said what hurts more than anything is he's going to miss some time and not be there for his team, especially after the start they just put out there. Lastly, he added he's going to take this challenge head first, give it his best, and come out of this thing better than ever. Finally, Tom Brady is still insanely good. In the opening game of his 23rd NFL season, the legendary Tom Brady turned back the clock and led his Tampa Bay Buccaneers to an easy win against the Dallas Cowboys. The future Hall of Famer finished with 212 yards, completed 18 of 27 passes, and made 1 interception. While this wasn't exactly his best game ever, it was very clear he still got it. Unsurprisingly, he got rave reviews from both fans and pundits. Skip Bayless was in awe and said that Brady was greater than ever. One of the biggest headlines from the game was how his spouse Gisele Bündchen was in attendance. There have been many reports of friction between the two, and her support proves the two's marriage remains intact. While we're certain she's still not happy about his decision to recant his retirement, they may have reached a truce. In any case, it's really cool to see the greatest of all time in action once again. That's a wrap for this video. What are your thoughts on Lamar Jackson turning down such a huge contract? Do you think he'll get what he wants? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Goodbye for now, and see you in the next one.